Would you please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, ladies. Everyone here. It is Tuesday, July 14th, and this is the meeting of the Morrison County Board of Commissioners. Gentlemen, we have an agenda in front of us, but I'm going to ask if there's any additions or deletions to the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I propose one addition to the agenda. Board's consideration to move into closed session to discuss purchase of property as part of the administrator's report. This will be a follow-up on the same property we've been discussing for over a year.
I'll make a motion to approve with that addition, Mr. Chair.
I could second
We have a motion by Commissioner Lemire. We have a second by Commissioner Casper to approve the agenda with the amendment. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. Gentlemen, we have an agenda. And to that agenda, next thing, I look to our administrator, Mr. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Kick off employee recognition or kick off our board meeting today. I'll invite our County Attorney Brian Mittendorf and Christina Chantry to come up, please. Our Assistant County Attorney, Christina Chantry. So I'll first pass the mic over to Brian.
Well, thank you. So, good morning, members of the board. I do have some fun news this morning. So, a couple of weeks ago, I received an email in my inbox from the Little Falls Chamber of Commerce, and I thought it was one of those phishing emails, so I didn't click on it, or I thought it was IT trying to trick me into clicking on it, and I'd have to do some remedial training. But it turns out it was a legitimate email from the Little Falls Chamber of Commerce, and they informed me that Christina was being recognized as the July Employee of the Month. And I thought that was pretty neat. You may have seen in the newspaper a nice article, and there was information out on social media as well, detailing everything that Christina has achieved in our office. She's been working in the county attorney's office for 6.5 years. She does felony work and child protection work, and she's been an amazing employee. And so I think it's wonderful that she's being recognized in that way, and so that's the good news. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Let's give Christina a round of applause. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity, and commissioners and those present here. The office is about cleared out to be here. Great sign of support. This is a team effort, and Christina is one of our troopers up there. And again, somebody who's behind the scenes in the shadows, but doing yeoman's work, protecting those and holding those accountable that need to be. I'm grateful for the relationship that I have with Christina. So very thankful you're here with Morrison County. You are part of what makes us a great organization to be part of and to provide service to our citizens. Embodies our values, resident-centric, trust, resident-centric, innovation, collaboration. I just think about those, and I think about you, Christina, and resident-centric, certainly on how you reach out and how you hold accountable and how you protect those that need protecting. Innovation, where you can, right, but within the confines of the law. Collaboration happens all the time throughout the staff and the office. You do it better than most, but trust is, I think, really what resonates with me when I think about Christina. I make my visits up to the attorney's office, and I usually start near Laura's office and work my way on down. Some are regulars that want to have a conversation, and some aren't. And Christina is one who regularly does not. But when she does, boy, do my ears perk up. So I'm just so thankful for that trust and that opportunity to connect and have, those real heartfelt conversations. And I just appreciate your insight and advice and all that you provide in council to me as well. So thank you very much. Congratulations. We're so super proud of you to be recognized as the July Chamber Area Employee of the Month. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc. You know, Matt, you really summed this up tremendously. Our organization is all about accountability, transparency, doing the right thing, and most importantly, we're here to serve the people of Morrison County. I'm ecstatic when I seen the article in the record and the announcement of your recognition, and that gives me a lot of great pride and joy that an organization from outside our organization looks at us and looks at an individual within Morrison County and raises that person up for the work that you do. I'm ecstatic, and I'm very grateful that you're a part of the Morrison County family. Gentlemen. Commissioner Moran.
Yes, one thing she also does, she volunteers her time with Hands of Hope. She's on the board currently and is the current chair, so thank you for that and all you do, and for the county, all you do.
Congratulations. Thank you for everything.
Congratulations again, you're, like, our administrator mentioned, you're way on the top floor up there, so you don't get visits from us,
No.
thank goodness, that often, but again, we appreciate you putting the county on the map and the departments that, you know, that are heard but never seen, so again, congratulations.
Commissioner Casper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Christina, congratulations. You know, when I hear more detail of who you are and what you've done and what you are doing, you're the sheer picture of meekness, not weakness. It's gentleness with strength. Thank you for your integrity. Thank you for being there in super stressful times for young kids and older folks that are in a bind. Thank you for your heart. God bless your efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I suppose I get to say something. I'm actually very humbled and very honored to receive this honor. My sister actually nominated me, which is kind of interesting because my sister and I were quite competitive growing up. And for her to nominate me was really a really big honor to know that she supports me. We're very different now, and we both have our different interests and life. She's also in Little Falls, but we both made it back to Little Falls after graduating high school and growing up in Little Falls, and I couldn't be more happy and more proud to represent the people of Morrison County in my job, and it's really just an honor. I couldn't do it, of course, without my coworkers, and everyone in the office is just a great team, and it's a really great environment to work in. I love working in Morrison County, and I hope that I'm able to be here for the rest of my career.
Good. Good to hear.
Fantastic.
Let's hear one more time. Mr. Chair, can you mind getting a picture with the board? Yeah, head on up. And then you all will join her here in just a second, so come on over. Yeah, come on, Cindy. Come on. Come on.
I like the sister story.
Yeah. This will give her time to get over
Right,
here.
you're gonna be right up in the front row of the center.
Congratulations. We want you to stay here for your I'm glad with your attitude.
Yeah, so sweet. Get up closer to there.
We should get up closer to it on this show. You good at?
Yeah, I'm good.
I feel like them.
All right, attorney's office, make your way on up there.
Hold that smile like this.
Morning, morning. Where's your husband hiding?
He is He's on a boys' trip.
Oh, you missed the big day, we'll have to Photoshop him in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, we can put him on his head on a stick.
Got it.
All right.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you all. Thanks for staying down. See you, thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Nice,
Matt.
Matt, thank you.
Thank you,
And that
Ted.
concludes employee recognition, Mr. Chair. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Here, I think she come. Thanks, Carl.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and that concludes employee recognition.
Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc. Gentlemen, we have the consent agenda in front of us. I ask if,
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Lemire, second by Commissioner Moran to approve the consent agenda. Discussion?
I have a comment, if I may. Again,
Commissioner Wincher.
Maybe you guys got the same email I did about Mudfest. And again, I'm approving that, no problem, but I had Shannon do a little homework for me. And the percentage, and maybe if I could let Shannon explain to what the question was, and again, it's very positive, so. If you don't mind, Mr. Chair.
No, thank you, Commissioner Wincher. We recognize our County Auditor Treasurer, Shannon Coyle. Shannon, good morning.
Shannon Coyle, Auditor Treasurer. Just wanted to let everyone know that all of the proceeds from this event are going to Gillette Children's Hospital. All the expenses were able to be covered by sponsors and food vendors, et cetera. So the entire event will benefit Gillette Children's Hospital. So very excited about
Fantastic.
that.
Thank you
So-
for doing that homework for me, and now
You
we
bet.
got on public record, so I appreciate that.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Shannon.
Thank you, Commissioner Wincher. Discussion. Any further discussion? Gentlemen, this is a roll call. Commissioner Lemire?
Aye.
Commissioner Casper?
Aye.
Commissioner Moran? Commissioner Wincher?
Aye.
The chairman votes aye. All those voting in the affirmative, the motion prevails. The consent agenda is approved. Gentlemen, we go then to our next presenter, and we have Carl here from the Initiative Foundation.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mr. Newbanks.
Carl Newbanks, Vice President of Philanthropy of the Initiative Foundation, and I'm grateful to have a few minutes of your time this morning just to give a quick summary of the Foundation's activities here in Morrison County and around the region. As always, very grateful for the county's support and happy to talk about what we've been up to. You have the county fact sheet, what we call a county fact sheet or impact sheet in the packet, and I always like to start at that bottom right-hand corner where it says economic impact. These are the Foundation's numbers in Morrison County since its inception in 1986, and we're happy to be celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. Been around for 40 years, doing good work across the region. I think we do have a 40th anniversary event in this area. It's going to be in Nisswa on October 2nd, I believe. We'd love to have everybody there if you wanted to join us. We've had 4 events across the region, just kind of spread out all over, trying to celebrate with folks. But since 1986, you can see in that bottom right-hand corner the total grants at $6.2 million, scholarships $458,000, the loans that we've participated in totaling $6.4 million, and those loans creating about 1,800 jobs, leveraging $63 million in outside capital, and we have, currently 34 charitable funds, what we call partner funds, that are either headquartered here in Morrison County or doing grants here into Morrison County. And so that's since 1986, but I've got some more recent numbers here as well that I can share with you. Our revolving loan fund is a great resource for the region. We're happy to deploy those loans, mostly as gap loans, as we always say, generally lenders come to us and say, we've got a project, we're really excited about it. Maybe it's a little rural, maybe it's just for whatever reason, it's not quite totally bankable. And they ask us to come in and fill those gaps so those projects can push across the finish line. So that's generally how we deploy the revolving loan fund. Very rarely are we the sole lender or the initiator of the deal, almost always in partnership with local financial institutions. But in 2025 and 2026, we've had 4 loans here in Morrison County, about $1 million in lending. And those people who take those loans, we ask them to kind of self-report how many jobs will be created or retained because of the loan. We have 25 jobs being created because of those loans and 33 jobs being retained due to that lending activity in the last 2 years. An additional 3 loans active that were back in 2024 as well. So 7 loans currently active here in Morrison County. We are a community development financial institution, a CDFI, which means we can kind of grab those dollars from the Department of Treasury. They come in as grant dollars to us, and then we can deploy them as loans with some restrictions from the Department of Treasury. But recently, a couple years ago, they changed their rules and said, if you're going to be a CDFI, 100% of your staff has to be working towards CDFI lending. Well, we have 36 staff members, and as you know, childcare and programming and nonprofit, all the work we're doing. So we kind of immediately failed to qualify as a CDFI for no other reason than our staff weren't devoted to that work. So we immediately got to work. We spooled up a wholly owned subsidiary of the foundation called the Impact Fund, and that entity then applied to be a CDFI with the Department of Treasury. And we just got word after 1.5 years of work and forms and feedback that entity is now certified as a CDFI. So we officially have a CDFI active here in the region again. And again, the goal there is to go out and get those dollars from outside of central Minnesota and bring them into the region, and put them to work so we can collect resources elsewhere and leverage them here. So happy to report that. Also related to that lending work is we're wrapping up our partnership with the DEED Main Street program. There's been several rounds. There was the big round, I think, that involved the theater and the chow time and some of that work years ago. Then there was a second round of Main Street, and now there's a final third round. And we've wrapped those up just now in 2026, and those included lending activity and grants to the Boys and Girls Club and the Purple Carrot Co-op. So happy to be supporting those organizations here as well. Those Main Street programs are all wrapped up and completed now. A couple of more recent number on grants. Of course, we have our own grant dollars that we deploy. We're increasingly functioning as an intermediary. We have larger funders now that have deployed big chunks of dollars to us and said, we want the Initiative Foundation to deploy these across central Minnesota. Because these larger entities would just say, we just don't have the knowledge or the local resources to make sure these grants are going to the right organizations, the right nonprofits. So we're happy to work like that. Otto Bremer's one, Margaret A. Cargill's another one that is interested in working with us in kind of this intermediary capacity. But in 2025, with our own grants, all of our charitable funds and donor advised funds, and some of those intermediary projects, 95 grants in Morrison County for a little over $500,000 in grants into the region here. I would highlight one other bit of that work. We did go out a couple years ago and get grants from the Center for Disaster Philanthropy to work with local cities, especially rural cities, on emergency operations plans. And we work with the Morrison County Emergency Officer and Todd County and Wadena County at Cass and Crow Wing, and did some trainings in this area with city administrators and city leaders so they could work on those plans. It was really great. As a follow-up to that, we did grants for emergency operations projects, and the 2 cities in Morrison County that received those grants were Little Falls and Pierce. Received some of those follow-up grants. If they, as part of the training, identified in kind of an immediate need, when they were done with the training day, then they could turn around and apply for a grant to initiate some of those projects that they'd identified. One other grant that I would highlight here, and I'm just going to read this, I think it's out of IQ Magazine, but it was a grant to the Write On workshops at the Morrison County Jail, where incarcerated individuals use poetry, essays, and short stories to build communication skills, process emotions, and rediscover their own voices. The program first received a Joy and Connection grant, and after realizing its ability to foster healing, belonging, and meaningful human connection, we were inspired by the difference this program is making and followed up with an additional $5,000 grant to help it continue. It was a really great program. There's a neat story, I think, about it in IQ Magazine and a couple other of our newsletters as well. The last update I would give is just a few programmatic updates, just as reminders. We're still working on access to affordable childcare across all 14 counties. We have a program officer working in that capacity. She mainly just helps convene local stakeholders, people looking for solutions, trying to identify what the challenges are, get folks together and help them identify where they could go after funding or other funding sources or opportunities to move those childcare solutions forward. We also have a program officer working on community resiliency and disaster mitigation and preparation. She's active across the region as well. And we continue to have our Nonprofit Academy program, serving nonprofit leaders. We provide lots of training. Every training is generally almost free or very low cost. In Morrison County in 2025, they had 39 individuals participate in that training and 24 organizations participate in Nonprofit Academy training. Generally, good governance, good financial management, and fundraising are kind of the focuses of that Nonprofit Academy program. And I would just, back on the front page, return us back to that middle where it says return on investment. One of the places that we really feel like we add value is that we are aggressively going outside of central Minnesota, whether that's to the state or the federal government or other large funders, partners that we could say, hey, come and put some dollars to work here in central Minnesota, whether that's Target, Wells Fargo Foundation, U.S. Bank Foundation, Otto Bremer, Trust, others, DEED, DHS, the CDFI Fund, Small Business Administration, USDA. We're currently have 42 grants that we've been awarded that we're spending out of the foundation office to do projects across the region. So for every dollar that we collect out of Morrison County, we return $3.88 back in the form of grants or loans. So we're happy to be that organization that can go out and get those dollars and bring it back in and multiply everyone's support. And with that, again, we're grateful for the county's contribution and your support of us as well. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Gentlemen, questions?
You did a good job.
Very good report.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Carl, I have to say we're pleased with the support that you've given to nonprofit like the Boys and Girls Club that impacts youth and families here in not only the city of Little Falls but Morrison County. But I also have to ask about the Nonprofit Academy, and we know that there are a number of very viable nonprofits out there trying to make positive impact to the people of Morrison County. But where there is that need of education, mentoring, and I'll just say help there in the governance area, in that fiscal management area, is there a cost for individuals from these nonprofits to partake in that Nonprofit Academy?
Typically, no. And generally, if there is a cost, it would be like a $10 or $15 cost to cover lunch, or something like that at the meeting. But generally, they are very low cost or free. And I would have to say, I can't imagine that we would turn a nonprofit away if they came to us and said, we need this training, we need this support, but we don't have a way, to get our executive director there or our board there. We need some financial assistance. I can't imagine that we can't find a way to help people, get there and get the training they need. So I would encourage people, don't ever hesitate to ask.
Is there a timeline set for, let's say, the next academy taking place?
Yeah, should be. Generally, on the foundation's website, you can get to that Nonprofit Academy page.
Okay.
And that would be where it would list anything that's coming up. That's so to say, on the horizon, near. And then they have a newsletter that folks can subscribe to, and they'll get 2 or 3 times a year, then they'll get, those email newsletters we all love. But if it's one that you're looking for, then you're gonna get those updates. This is the next training, this is how to register, this is when it's coming up, et cetera. So that's probably something I would encourage all the nonprofits to just subscribe to. And especially here in Morrison County, where our office is so close, encourage folks to come over, knock on the door, meet Nicole, meet our Nonprofit Academy program officer, get to know her, tell her what you're doing. She's very involved, she's very engaged, very active, meets with a lot of folks all across the years, so.
Fantastic.
Good resource.
Thank you for that. Gentlemen, anything else for Mr. Newbanks this morning? Carl,
Mr. Chair.
thank you. So, Mr. LeBlanc.
I just want to provide one point of clarity. While Carl was presenting, I pulled up their 40th anniversary announcement here, and I was able to attend the one in Bram in June, a very good event, got to learn more about Initiative Foundation for the last 40 years. And the next 2 coming up are September 22nd in Big Lake and October 1st in Nisswa. So I just that, and then ironically, or by chance, we received a mailing this week from Initiative Foundation, and usually I provide those as an update, but since it's an item on the agenda, I'll do it now. So Carl and Brian voting president sent us a letter thanking us for the county's contribution of 2026. So the board recalls our contribution of appropriated funds is $7,650, which has gone unchanged over the last 5 years. But the Initiative Foundation just wanted to say thank you and pass on the appreciation to the board. So Carl came and did it in person, but I also wanted to acknowledge that we received the mailing as well.
Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc. Carl, wish you a great day. Thank you for coming here and providing that accountability and that transparency to the board and to the people of Morrison County.
Awesome. Thanks again for your time. Appreciate
Great
it.
information, thank you.
Have a great day.
Gentlemen, next on the agenda, Land Services. I look to our Land Services Director, Ms. Kowalczyk. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, Amy. What a pretty dress.
Thank you. Okay, I have a few items for you today. The first one is to consider the interim use permit amendment for the Long Prairie Project Associates LLC. This was heard by the Planning Commission actually a couple of weeks ago. And again, this was a request just to amend some of the conditions within the interim use permit application, so it's not a reconsideration of the entire permit. And the Planning Commission did not pass as far as to recommend approval. So now it is here before you for discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lemire.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second for more discussion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lemire and a second by Commissioner Wincher to approve the planning, or the amendment to the permit. Would that be stating that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Discussion. Commissioner Casper.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Amy, is it possible a condition that being it's a interim use permit to put an end date on it?
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Kowalczyk.
you must.
Okay.
So,
Okay. That's
so
one of the
one of the conditions, and maybe I'll just review the conditions that have been requested to be amended or changed and or removed is your original condition number 1, and that is a condition that was requiring them to formally terminate the conditional use permit for an outdoor recreation facility and the interim permit for limited rural business, and then also discontinuing the liquor license. All of that has been done, and so there is a request to remove that condition from the permit. condition that is being requested to be removed is the applicant, Troy Hoekstra, shall submit a written statement by January 30th of every year attesting that, one, the facility is operating as a licensed residential treatment center, and two, Troy Hoekstra is a part of and involved in the Autumn Hills facility. And then finally, the third condition on the original permit that they are asking to change or amend is the interim use permit for a licensed residential treatment center shall terminate when Troy Hoekstra is no longer a part of or involved in the Autumn Hills facility. So at the public hearing, there was some discussion, because this is an interim use permit, there must be some sort of condition with an end date. And so that was discussed at the public hearing, and there had been a few suggestions. But since the Planning Commission did not recommend pushing this forward for approval, that really didn't get shaken out very well.
Very good.
Commissioner Wincher,
One or two or three questions, if I may. Mr. Chair.
I'll give you levity.
All right, thank you. Amy,
Yes.
what does this permit, what happens to this permit if we were to deny the condition?
If you were to deny the amendment, the permit would continue to go as it is written now. You're not terminating their permit, you're just not agreeing to amend the conditions.
And thank you for that. So, and if Mr. Hextra resigns, then what happens?
Then the permit would terminate, because that is the condition that is on there now, is that if Mr. Hoekstra is not involved or a part of this, then that would terminate the permit, and then that would cause the reapplication for the
And that's the
permit.
point I'm trying to get to, Mr. Pierce. So so it's not like everything goes away.
No.
Troy, they would just have to start over and reapply for the permit, and then conditions may or may not be set at.
Correct. Then it would be essentially considered on the merits brought forward at the time of that public hearing, and then whatever the county board determined were appropriate conditions would be vetted.
So if I may, this is more of a comment than a question. We have three, basically from the past, back in '22, three conditions. And again, all of us here know, we've been to planning meetings before, there's always been some IUPs, there's been end dates on all of them. Every condition or every permit that stands on its own, they're not two of the same, but we always have that end date, and conditions are put there for a reason. This is my view. There's no condition here that states that, again, this is just me, that if Troy, and he happens to be part of this condition, if he were to resign, that they're able to come back, and let's recondition that, because the fact that I don't see a condition on here, okay, we'll okay if Troy happens to be terminated, retire, or whatever. Again, this is just my point of view. I just look at this, there's really no harm in my position that this permit should move forward, because or permit, the condition, there's no condition on here that if Troy retires, and he's still on the board apparently, by listening to that, so he really isn't gone. Maybe something will happen. What's the name of this corporation, the Ascension, I think it is?
Long praise.
Yeah, goes off from Long Prairie. He's still employed as a board member, and maybe they can redo it, but once he steps off, then the condition states that this permit is ceased and that they have to come back to it. So I will not be supporting the amendment.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lemare.
it was us that put Troy Hoekstrom on there as to be used for the end date. We usually do that on when they're doing a IUP for smaller things, when it's a family-owned thing, and I think we goofed up on that part, because we should have used a position instead of Troy as a person. It is allowed in our ordinance to do this. It's under 506.5F. So it's allowed. We've done it before. Treatment facilities are allowed in ag. It is supported in our Morrison County Comp Plan under ag and local economic development. We put that end date in place. We also put, which was a great idea, we also had them get rid of a CUP, an IUP, and their liquor license, and they did it by the date that we told them that they needed it done. If you go through the criteria questions, which that's how we decide whether something should move forward or not, it says the use will not put an excessive burden on roadways, utilities, and public facilities. Well, that's gonna maintain pretty much the same as it was when Autumn Antlers was in existence. The request will be detrimental to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity. Well, this place is in the middle of, pretty much in the middle of 100 acres. And detrimental means to cause harm. And I don't know why they're so, they think these people are gonna jump the fences and be violent. I mean, of course, there's evil everywhere. They're gonna be evil when there's one person. So, you know, these are, and we aren't even supposed to be debating that part on whether or not, you know, they're self-committed people. They can leave when they want. But that's not the issue today. We're discussing the two issues, and that's taking Troy's name off, putting others on. The use in the opinion of the planning commission is reasonably related to the existing land use. Like I said before, it's allowed in ag. It's specifically allowed in ag, and it is supported by a comp plan. The use is not consistent with the purpose of the zoning ordinance and the purposes of the zoning district in which it applicant intends to locate. It's ag, it's allowed in ag. And then the other one's a groundwater, surface water, MPCA is involved in this process, so that's nothing to be concerned about. And the use is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan or the water plan. No. Them are easily answered in the affirmative. They've invested millions into Morrison County. They plan to hire, I don't remember the exact number, 45 to 50 people, decent paying jobs, helping people within Morrison County, and it's the first facility that we'll have in Morrison County. We depend on other people to take care of our people. I think it's right that we have our own facility to take care of Morrison County people also. There was comments made that I'm not gonna go into because they don't, most of the stuff that was talked about during the public hearing had nothing to do with the questions at hand. It had to do with all the stuff that we discussed in 2021, and that isn't what we're asking for today. We're simply asking to get rid of number one, which has already been completed, and remove Troy Hoekstra's name. And then, you know, I think we should put what they suggested, CEO of Ascension or the Executive Director of Long Prairie Project Associates. They can come before us and tell us how they're doing on an annual basis. And the end date could be as long as Long Prairie Project Associations is owner of, are they the owner of the facility?
The property is held by Long Prairie Project
As
Associates.
long as Long Prairie Associates owns the facility, that would require the state to come in again for the licensing. I mean, this has been a hurdle after hurdle for these individuals. They wanted to be in here in, I believe, 23 or 24, and they've been getting setback after setback after setback because of licensing and the state give them a runaround, and they're this close, other than the state giving them their license, which we know how that is with our landfill, how that can be. Been waiting 3 years for that, and they're just waiting for that to be finished, and they'll be up and running. I'm in full support of this, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Gentleman, Commissioner Casper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Amy, does it seem, can we put an annual IUP on this, that it would be examined each year to see, they could come and report to the board to let us know how the business is doing and
Mr. Chair?
that sort of thing?
Amy?
You could certainly put a condition that they provide an update either in front of the board or to Land Services. You certainly could put a condition on this for that. Not that they apply for their IUP on an annual basis, but I think you're looking for an update.
Yes. Excuse me, one more question, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Casper?
So do we still put a drop dead date on that?
You must.
We must, okay, and you had mentioned that, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Further discussion? Commissioner Casper?
I would be in agreement with Commissioner Lemire, what he has stated. I'm wondering if it's possible to put a 2-year IUP condition on it. First, they would appear before the board or Land Services, whatever is determined today, but also after 2 years, they would come to get renewed.
Mr. Chair?
Amy?
I just want to make sure I'm clear. So you're looking at having the termination of the IUP occur 2 years from today, where they would need to reapply
Yes.
for the interim use permit?
It seems reasonable, but yet at the same time, Amy and Mr. Chair, I would just say maybe other board members have a different idea. I'd like to hear their input if they've got something different.
Commissioner Lemire?
I would be okay with them coming before the board and telling us how they're doing, but I think putting I just can't imagine all the investment that they have in this facility. And to, you know, who knows, I don't know, they could be doing a great job, great work, and this board could say, we don't want you no more either.
And Mr. Chair, not necessarily this board.
Commissioner Moran?
Same.
Yeah, not
Commissioner Moran.
necessarily this board, but the boards in the future, kind of like where we're sitting right now, you know?
Mr. Chair?
Amy?
One other thing is I'm thinking a short-term license like that may impact their ability to get licensed by Health and Human Services.
Okay. And I'm wondering how far do we push it out then, Mr. Chair?
So in answer to your question, I think what I'm hearing from the board is your concern would be answered by your first statement, which would be having someone from this organization come to and report to the board on what are the operations and the success or challenges of the operation on a yearly basis. And that's what was I believe as I read this, was the conditions that were placed by the board in 2021. And you see that, and those are the amendments that they're looking to make,
Very good.
Commissioner Casper.
Yeah,
If
if that's gonna
if that helps you.
Yeah, if that's
understand.
amenable and gives us protection to keep an eye on the business.
Mr. Chair?
Miss Amy, please.
So if you're looking, I just want to make it clear that if you're looking for a condition for a report, that's all it's going to be. There would be no opportunity to rearrange their permit or do anything. It's just simply a report of them letting you know. I mean, it certainly would give you an opportunity to talk about any issues that may come up, but you really don't have the ability to react to that by amending their permit or anything like that. So I just want to make sure it's clear that that does not give you an opportunity to reopen their permit or make any sort of changes. But it would be something where that's that annual touch base.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Casper?
So Amy, let's say if, I know the neighbors have struggled with, is it going to be safe? And I can understand their concern, but yet at the same time, we want the business to succeed. So there's kind of a balance point there. So we have no right to terminate that once this is in place, is that correct?
There
If
is
we see serious issues developing?
There is a fourth condition that is on this permit now that we are not looking to remove, and that is the property shall abide by all local, state, and federal law regarding licensed treatment facilities. If there was a violation of that, then there would be cause to terminate
Very good.
the permit, but that would have to be something that's happening that is against the law. And so, disruptive activities isn't necessarily a violation of law.
I understand.
You know, so, it would depend on what's going on out there.
Well said. Thank
Chair.
you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lemire.
And to help, maybe help Bobby out too, this is a self-pay facility, and if they don't do a good job, they're not gonna succeed.
Amen.
Otherwise, they're gonna go elsewhere. So it's up to them. They wanna do a good job, they wanna have customers, and I believe it'll take care of itself if they do not.
Very good. Thank you.
Commissioner Wincher.
Thank you again. Again, when this came in front of the board here, I voted for this. I was okay with, you know, again, getting off this, I think we're getting off the sidetrack. This is about the condition. Doesn't know about the facility, what they do or whatever. This is about the condition that they want changed on an IUM. I think we're gonna open up a Pandora's box if now all of a sudden we put a condition on that property or this property. Or, you know what, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna amend it because I just didn't like that condition at the time. So, you know what, can we just take it off and let's redo that? Has nothing to do with whether people are gonna go and, you know, jump the fence. I don't even think there's a fence down there. This is just about the condition, my opinion. So this condition, they're asking to remove or to change a condition that was approved by them, approved by the board here 3, 4, 5 years ago. And again, the criteria questions, that's based on what the facility is doing. This I don't believe has nothing to do with this condition. I think we get sidetracked. Do we want to change, allow them to change a condition that was put on, and nothing's gonna really happen. Again, if we don't approve the condition, they can still come back and, you know, again, boards, you know, we all talk about that. Boards change, legislatures change, things change. I'm looking at this as a condition that I feel that we're gonna have other, maybe, this is the first time this has ever, I believe, came to us in my career, that someone's asked to come in, let's change the condition rather than reevaluate the permit. You know, again, I don't know, this has been about 10
Mr.
years.
Chair, it's rare, but we have had it,
Okay, and I don't remember that,
but
so.
not very often.
And again, so that's why I'm not voting against the facility, I'm voting against the condition to have been changed by the applicant, because they're just not, we maybe made a mistake, you know, did this, we all make mistakes, that we shouldn't have did this, but I'm looking at it in black and white, that in case Mr. Troy terminates, retires, whatever, the condition is not, now this condition is there, now they have to start the process all over. The licensing, I have no, that again, I don't think that has nothing to do with us, it's all about the condition.
Commissioner Lemire.
Just the criteria questions are part of this process, and the criteria questions must be used to change Troy Hoekstra's name off of there. That's why it's almost, I mean, they're all yeses. They're all yeses. And this is a big deal. If we have to start from scratch again, that's gonna put them back probably another couple of years, year or two. And I just don't think, I think actually, if we put the executive director on there, that would be a better person to have on there than Troy Hoekstra. He's there, he's working at the facility. Troy saw the construction through to the end, and now he says, I got this thing rolling, I wanna move on. Well, we want somebody that's got teeth in the game, and the teeth in the game would be the executive director, and it would be the owner, can't remember what his name was, Doug Leach, he's the CEO he's the CEO of Long Prairie Associates, and he's part owner of Ascension. So he'd be a great one to put down as an individual to come and update us on a yearly basis of however this was written. I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. I'm
Commissioner Moran. Thank you, Commissioner Lemire. Commissioner Moran.
Director of Long Prairie Projects.
I think the intent of Troy is to get out of this. That's how I'm seeing it. And I've heard the word mistake, and maybe we shouldn't have, and probably shouldn't have put his name on there. Troy is an investor, and now he wants out, is the way I see it. And so now this new company is coming forward, and at the planning meeting, one of the residents said that he had known Troy over the 20 years and that they could reach out to Troy if there was an issue, and now Troy is gonna be gone, and that relationship is gonna be gone. And now we have to start a new relationship with whoever. And I'm thinking that maybe I don't think it's gonna be a long process, Amy, for them to reapply for this, would it?
It would, Mr. Chair,
Amy.
if I have a complete application, generally we see that application in, and then a month later is when the public hearing occurs.
Okay. And there's a chance that it'll pass again, you know, who knows? And this company will be able to go on, but I think they should start from scratch, the process. I don't think it'll take that long. And, yeah, it's been 5 years. I don't know what's taken so long, if it's the state licensing, if it's, we gave them the approval almost 5 years ago, right? And these residents are upset, and, you know, possibly have another public hearing. I guess that would be the steps to take, and start from scratch, and so we don't make mistakes again or have to be sitting here again, so.
Gentlemen?
I'm gonna pull out the tax issue. We always talk about how can we lower our tax base or increase our tax base. This is a great opportunity to increase our tax base. I just can't believe it, but.
Mr. Chair, we haven't heard from you.
Mr. Chair, the individual from, I'm not sure if she's from Ascension, if they could have an opportunity to speak? Why not?
They had the opportunity to speak at the public hearings.
They have, there was questions asked of them at the public hearing that were never given to us either. Maybe they have that, Mr. Chair.
Gentlemen, if there is a member of the board who wishes to ask a question of the applicants, I think it is only right that they're given that opportunity to answer question. And if they'd like to approach and if you have a question, Commissioner Lemire?
I would like them to come forward and they have something to say to us, have to give them that opportunity.
And I will agree with that, as long as, again, at this meeting, at the planning, they always state, do not be repetitive and say something that's already been on there. I'd be happy to hear something, new information that they have, but if it's already something that I see at the end, then I don't think we need to hear that anymore.
Please approach. And you may bring another chair up there. I'm sorry, we should have had enough chairs here. Before Commissioner Lemire asks his question, I'm going to ask each of you, pull the microphone towards you and state your name and if you would, your title, so we have that for the record this morning. And then I will look to Commissioner Lemire. Ma'am, if you may.
Hi, I'm Karen Olson. I'm a partner of Spencer Fain LLP, and I am legal counsel for Long Prairie Project Associates.
Hi, I'm Doug Leach. I'm the founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. I'm the owner of the property along with Troy. Troy has been a 10% owner. I've owned 90% the entire time. So, and Ascension has always been the operating partner. But again, Doug Leach. Thanks for the opportunity to talk.
My name is Bill Coleman. I'm a clinical social worker, and I will be responsible for leading the clinical services and programming for the program. And pretty excited about doing that here.
Hi, I am Lance Mascara. I'm a facilities planning consultant for Long Prairie Project Associates and Ascension Recovery Services.
If I can,
Yeah, Doug, could you, you've heard the conversation here this morning. Do you have
Yep.
anything you'd like to add to that, please?
Yeah, so the timeline of opening this thing, construction took 2+ years. The state licensure process has been held up with the daycare fraud, and it's taking 2 years to get a license. So we're now through the process. We're ready once, we're ready to open. The facility is built, it's furnished, it is ready to go as soon as we get our license. I've invested every penny that I have. Every penny that I have, my family has, is in that property. We invested $8 million in there. That's family and friends of my money. It's everything that I have. And I operate treatment centers all across the country. Why Long Prairie? This is where I came and I got sober. I'm from West Virginia, born and raised, and came to treatment in Center City, Minnesota for treatment, and I lived out here in Minnesota for a year. I got to meet Bill Coleman out here. Bill was clinical director at Hazelden Betty Ford. But I went on a mission after I got clean and sober to open up centers across the country in areas that don't have any. This is an area where there is nothing. And the quality options are very, very limited. So that's my whole goal, is to provide people in Morrison County treatment. Everywhere that I open up treatment, it's not a destination center. We don't pull people from around the country. We treat a local area. And all of our programs, this is licensed by the state. We can't be. If you're disruptive and a public nuisance, you'll get cited on your license. You can lose your license that way. We have to operate in strict compliance by state licensure requirements of a behavioral health facility. It'll be accredited by the Joint Commission. It'll be operated to the highest standards. There's always a NIMBY effect whenever we open up a center. Anywhere we go, there's worries, there's concerns. I've never had an issue with a neighbor, and I offer it at every one of these hearings. I've done 90 of these, and I've opened up 90 different programs around the country. And I offer, anybody can talk to any neighbor of any program I have. Go to my website, look up a program, pick a neighbor on the map, and talk to them and see if we're a problem. We are just not. And the neighbors love our programs. We're treating their children. The people that are overdosing are in Morrison County. The problem is right here, and we're helping them get their lives back. So I am more than happy. This is, again, I'll be here all the time. Bill Coleman has, 20 years in Minnesota, and we're very well connected. We do the right thing. I don't look to make a fortune off this place. I hope one day to get my money back. But I'm doing this because I care about treatment. I care about people getting treatment, and Minnesota was so good to me. As we're going through this licensing process, some of these things, if we're not operating, we are a problem. And if we're causing neighbors problems, legitimate, real problems, the state will shut us down. The state will shut us down. So as long as we abide by all the rules, which are we can't take someone that is a threat to themselves or others. We're not allowed to accept them into our facility. It's a voluntary facility with clinical criteria for us to accept them. So I do understand, but Troy was a minority owner in this project. He helped get it through construction. He wants to do other things. I've been the owner ever since day one, and my company, Ascension, is the company that is going to operate and manage this thing. That's never changed, and it's not going to change. And a condition that says if Ascension stops operating it, or if Long Prairie Projects sells, then that's not us. But we build relationships with our neighbors. We'll give I give my phone number personally to people all over the country. No one ever calls me, but they have it. But we want to work with our neighbors. There's a Netflix documentary called Recovery Boys. You can watch it. It's about a center that I opened in West Virginia, very similar to Long Prairie. Population is 400 people. They were adamantly opposed to it. I stood up in front of 200 people that threatened me and everything else, and were so mad because I was going to open up this place. And I told them the overdoses, like a hot map, is they're all around here. We're going to be helping local people. Well, you can watch in that documentary the first 6 months of operations. The neighbors are our biggest supporters. The neighbors come over and cheer on the people at our facilities and participate in the graduations and cook meals and offer farming jobs and to the people. It's a farming program that we have in Aurora, West Virginia. So I just plead with you to this would be devastating.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Lemire, excuse me.
As I'm sure you've heard this morning, that if we deny it, have you start this process all over again, what would that consist of for you, and how far back would that put you?
We stop the license process. Maybe it puts us back years in the licensure process.
You'd have to start all over again?
We'd have to start all
with the
over
state of
again.
Minnesota.
Yeah, and I don't have the money to maintain, a $13 million property for another 2.5 years. And there's people that will die as a result of that. That's a guarantee if people aren't getting treatment there.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Lemire?
May I just speak?
Karen?
Karen. I just wanted to also update the board on the licensure, because licensure is imminent. DHS does have a long backlog, and what they do is when you put your license in, you go into a queue. Their license is finally out of the queue. It's in the process of being reviewed. They're reviewing their policies and procedures. And as a little background, you can't apply until you have your facility ready, you've got your planning, you've got your policies and procedures, you know how your program will work. So part of the licensing requirement will be, though, that DHS is going to request from the county confirmation that zoning is approved for this facility. And if zoning is not approved, the license will not go forward. And so it is very important for the future of this facility and all the money they invested in, that these conditions be changed so that they can get their license.
Thank you for that. May you speak?
Good morning. Main thing that I wanted to say is that, well, first of all, it was a treat walking in and seeing Christina get awards publicly, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. It's a treat to see that kind of collaboration. With relative to who we're admitting, Ascension will be admitting people that have been screened and pre-screened, and our pre-screening process eliminates people that are court-ordered, sex offenders, history of violence. It's people like me, and I'm in recovery myself since September of '79. I think that this is, and I've been to the facility, we're here from the very beginning. It's a beautiful facility that will help a lot of people. And I think that's really the, bottom line, is that the program is ready, it's operational, and we can move forward right now and be serving people, within the next 90 to 120 days. So I just wanted to share that. And I've been in this field since 1985, and a strong believer in recovery and a strong believer in community. And I view us as partners to the county, and mental health services, substance abuse services. There are partners in every state that we work at. We're a part of their system. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I got a question, if I may.
Commissioner Lemire, to your question.
Mr. Leach?
Yes.
If we, get rid of Troy Hoekstra from the whole thing and then put the CEO of Ascension or the executive director of Long Prairie Projects Associates, can you explain to us why that might even be a better idea?
Yeah, Troy does not know about the treatment of operations. He knows building buildings, so he just wouldn't even know what to, and this is not a criticism of him. That's just not his role. He's not a clinician. So
He wanted.
We would,
Yeah.
you know, so we would, and I'm happy to do it. I'm going to be here all the time. I'm out here all the time. I'm happy to come and meet with everybody and talk about it. And the one comment I will make, it's that if we're doing something that's a nuisance or a bother to the community, we will change it. We will change it. We've got a history of doing this all over the country. So just because a law says, well, you don't have to do anything, we do stuff all the time. Neighbors want vegetation or need extra land, we'll sell land, we'll give land, we'll build fence, we'll do whatever we need to do. We don't want to bother anybody. We want to help people in this county get better. And to the tax base, I mean, our taxes are, property taxes are over $100,000 a year. But we went in and, you know, built this facility and spent all this money, and it'd be devastating, and people, there would be lives lost as a result of this. I mean, people need this center to open, and it would be sooner than 90 to 120 days. We're ready to get our license once we have this. So I think it's much better that you have me. I think I'll bring the executive director of the facility. I think you can get, you know, we'll take you guys on a tour. We're gonna have an open house and have people from all over come. You're, you know, of course, we'll be invited to that. And we just have such strong relationships with city councils, county commissioners, all over the country, everywhere we go. I'm doing this to help people, not to be a pain in the butt. I mean, I just have no interest in doing that. So if someone says, hey, guys, you know, like, and we teach our folks that come through treatment community service and do community service projects. I urge you to watch that documentary, Recovery Boys. I mean, we shovel neighbors' driveways, and this is in West Virginia where we get 2 feet of snow, not unlike here. And the community supports it. The most outspoken against it are our biggest supporters. That's how it always ends up.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Moran.
do you have operations in Minnesota currently?
Yes.
And where are they, and how many beds, and?
So we have a facility opening in St. Cloud, Minnesota. Then EOSIS, it's a center with 650 beds that I'm a part owner of. Yeah, so large in Minnesota.
And one other question.
And
Commissioner Moran.
So, previous to this being Long Prairie Associates or whatever, it was Autumn Hills, correct?
We just called it that. That was going to be the name of the center, because it used to be called Autumn Antlers, so we said Autumn Hills. It might still be, we haven't picked the name yet.
When you apply for a license from the state, what name are you using?
Long Prairie Project Associates, the LLC, and with, that we got the permit for.
And when did that, when was that established?
At the very beginning.
5 years ago?
Yes.
Further questions? Commissioner Casper.
You know, our administrator was just gonna say something.
Well, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to give where I've got notes to, and then, because there's a motion and a second, so I wanted to capture what the revised conditions are, and then to see if there's an amendment to that. So I've been keeping notes while conversation's been taking place.
And you're, thank you, you're kind of beating me to the punch, and but I wanted to give members of the board, Commissioner Lemire had asked for the opportunity to ask questions of the applicants, which I granted, and others have had that same opportunity to ask questions. If now is an appropriate time, gentlemen, to update where we at. Commissioner Wincher?
Again, if I may, again, I have no questions for the applicant. The criteria questions, yep, they're, pretty much, the one it's, question number 4 is not consistent with the zoning ordinance. That's kind of vague, but again, we are distracting, and I appreciate you guys saying this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. There's other facilities out there other than yours. We've had people come in front of the variance, getting very upset because they didn't meet after the fact permits, there's just so many, and they're crying, because we make them follow our rules. This rule, again, I don't know, maybe I'm way out left field, we are getting distracted from the condition. That's what we have to look at. Again, and I say, I voted for this permit 4 years ago to have this. I didn't see anything wrong with it. What I do see again is changing a condition that was implemented 4 years ago. And I know our, Amy said that we did that before, I don't remember that, but we have to, focus and say, yep, it's a great place, and we can call me, I'm gonna be very open, and you can do all that. This has nothing to do, in my opinion, to the condition that they're asking to do. And again, if you look at it, it's not consistent with the purpose of zoning ordinance, well, you know what, we put this out in the planning and zoning, they put the conditions out, the past, wherever their name was, agreed to this, and yet, maybe there was a mistake, maybe it's not a mistake, because again, to reapply, it's really not gonna cost them, and we had people that, they build when they're not supposed to, we're forced to tear them down, there's money, maybe not in the millions of this, but this is about the condition, and yet, I believe, it's gonna be hopefully a very successful thing, but we have to concentrate on the condition, and that's what I am, and again, I just believe, let's let them come back and put the condition out. And again, whether, it's gonna be detrimental to the facility, to finances, to again, that I can't help. I can just concentrate on the condition.
So before I go to our administrator, I need to, I feel the need to respond as board chair and to try and, I'm trying to help navigate this conversation. But, so for me, this goes back to, so what is the task at hand and what are we, and why are we here? And so, we're here to consider whether or not to change the conditions. And Commissioner Wincher, you said we need to focus on the conditions. And our job today is to focus on the opportunity or not the opportunity to change the language of the conditions that are in front of us. I want to remind us that we're not in the position to direct the applicants to reapply. And if I'm incorrect on that, Amy, would you, or Mr. LeBlanc, advise me? But I think what we're charged with is taking action on action that the Planning Commission looked at, and that is the ability to change language within 3 of 4 conditions. Amy.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that is correct. And my understanding, and perhaps people sitting next to me can verify, that Troy Hoekstra is still involved, still on the board, still a part owner?
Yes.
Okay, so if they haven't sunsetted their permit because Troy is still involved, so this is a look to the future as far as what Troy, if Troy is going to be making an exit, they're trying to get ahead of that because there is understanding that the permit will terminate the way it's set up now. So I guess for me, what we really need to look at was the consideration, there's conditions here that tie Troy to this project, tie Troy to the longevity of this project. And it seems that there was an awful lot of stock put in Troy and his ability to deliver whatever was presented. at that hearing. I think the question is do we feel within the parameters of this permit that there could be someone else named that is associated with this that could be relied upon to do those things that we were relying on Troy to do. It sounds like there's been a few things offered out, like the executive director of the local program and or the owner of the umbrella company of Ascension. And so to me, it seems that that is the conversation that should be had, is there someone else that you're comfortable with stepping in the capacity that we wanted Troy to act in? Or is it so tied up in Troy that the whole thing needs to be reconsidered when he leaves?
Gentlemen, you understand?
Mr. Chair, one clarification.
Mr. Moran, Commissioner Moran, excuse me.
Could we sunset this early, the current one, and reapply?
It's not really germane to the ask. So I don't know that you can unilaterally cancel the permit that they have right now. Essentially what they're what this is we're cracking the door, and the scope of it is very narrow as far as, will you allow them to amend these 3 conditions? Yes or no? That's really what's in front of you today.
There's no way to void this current.
The only time this would sunset is if Troy actually does make his exit, and number 3, then the way it's written, the interim use for a licensed residential treatment center shall terminate when Troy Hoekstra is no longer a part of or involved. And so that's what would terminate this permit.
See, and there it says Autumn Hills again, when technically.
Correct.
that
That's what
isn't
it was
even the name.
called at the time of application, yes.
So, before I go to Commissioner Mr. LeBlanc, our administrator, and we're gonna sift through this to hopefully get to a point of definition of what the motion and the second entails here right now. But I need to ask a question to Amy, because there's been a lot of dialogue here, and I think there's a lot of ability to have lack of understanding. If there was no action taken on this request, this process continues with ownership. With the individuals that are here, they will continue to apply for the permit, and operations of this facility would go forward. Is that correct?
Mr. Chair, if you deny the request to amend the conditions, they'll still have an interim use permit in effect with the original conditions. And so, yes, they would still have their permit, but then, of course, if Troy makes his exit, and then this would terminate.
Okay. Mr. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe the motion was to approve the interim use permit with amendments. And what I've captured so far for the amendments, as stated in the board packet, removal of 1, 2, and 3. And number 1 would become the applicant provides an annual update to the county board or land services. We'll call it the facility executive director or the CEO of Ascension will provide an annual update to the county board and/or land services at the discretion of the county board. Number 2 would be the interim use permit for a licensed residential treatment care center shall terminate when Long Prairie Associates is no longer a part or involved in the Autumn Hills facility. And number 4 would remain as the property shall abide by all local, state, and federal law regarding licensed treatment facilities. So there'd be 3 conditions.
4 would become 3.
4 would become number 3. I think I captured that.
Amy, do you concur?
Yes, I'm tracking with Matt as far as kind of that's I think what we've been talking about.
Commissioner Lemire?
I have one more question, or actually 2 more questions.
Yes, Commissioner Lemire.
In this is for Mr. Leach, if I may. Not only will we'll be treating members of our community, we also will be hiring people. Can you
Yes.
explain how much money and how many people you will be investing in Morrison County and its citizens?
We've already invested close to $13 million. We'll be hiring about 50 employees. The average wage is $60,000 is a good average wage with full benefits. We hire locally. We have a second center that's opening in St. Cloud, downtown St. Cloud. We remodeled the Methodist church there. I've got partners with that project, but we work with Centricare Hospital, and we'll work with their Long Prairie, whatever they call that, like their rural clinic, and so we'll hire lots of jobs, the way that these things work best is it is community owned and operated really. So if I imagine people that come through treatment today, 3 or 4 years from now, will work at the facility. That's how it typically goes. We like a pathway back in. They get to share their experience, strength, and hope with people that are going through treatment. Look, we were in this seat 5 years ago. So it provides an opportunity for nursing jobs, nurse practitioner, medical director, clinical director, facilities. There's just a whole lot. And like I've said before, so it'll be a big economic impact. Plus, everybody coming to treatment, like we're getting people healthy and coming back into society and contributing again and back to their families. Most of the folks that come here will have children, family, probably in not good condition, but they're working to build that back. I think the community will find, because it's been, again, I've opened 90 of these. I've never had an issue with neighbors or a county, and I want to be a good partner. I will be. I have a track record of doing that my whole life. If there's things that there's concerns from neighbors, we want to fix it. We don't want to bother a neighbor. We have a history of not doing that, but we have had a couple times where they said, how about you do this, or could we use this, or could we use your this part of this land or facility for something. We've done that. There's lots of information on us out there if you search, and like again, that Netflix documentary that I mentioned shows the first 6 months of operations, and you'll see, if you watch that, you'll think the town was in full support of this from day one, because they're at the barn dances and helping out, coming to the graduation, but they were so opposed.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Miss Amy?
Couple of things. I think it's really unfortunate that Troy was the front man for this, because it sounds like the front man actually was this guy. So it's really unfortunate that you were not part of the process of getting this permit in the first hand, because we could have gotten acquainted with you right away, and Troy was kind of left to be that for us. And so you're new. You're new to the scene, where it sounds like you've always been you know, the 90% owner. So I think, you know, Troy, we put a lot of trust in Troy. He carried this project forward. We were at the mercy of what we were told. You know, you were not mentioned, you know, so we had, I think, him online, but he was the face of Ascension. And so that's the thing is I think what we seem to be wading through is how much weight, I think this is evident, how much weight was put on what Troy was saying, what Troy was going to do, what Troy promised. And of course, now it sounds like that kind of, he never probably should have been in that position to be speaking for Ascension and for this project. So now it's kind of like, gentlemen, meet Ascension, really, is what this is about. And I think what it comes down to is, do you feel someone other than Troy Hoekstra could deliver on our understanding of what was presented at the original hearing? To me, that's what this boils down to.
Commissioner Casper.
Just a simple question. Mr. Doug, would you compare this somewhat to what we're very familiar in Minnesota with an outfit called Teen Challenge? Is it quite similar?
Not really. It's more like Hazelden.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Quite a few people on our team are ex-Hazelden executives, ex-CEO of Karen Treatment Center. Bill Coleman was an ex-clinical director at Hazelden Betty Ford. So our model is really very similar to Hazelden, Betty Ford, or Karen Treatment Centers.
And Hazelton has been highly successful.
They're so great. That's where I went to treatment. Saved my life.
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Amy.
I was just handed this suggestion, I guess, of a revamp of one of the conditions of condition number 2. And the request is that it would read, the applicant shall submit a written statement by January 30th of every year attesting that, 1, the facility is operating as a licensed residential treatment center, 2, Ascension Recovery Services is part of or involved in this facility, and 3, this statement shall be submitted by the CEO of Ascension Recovery Services and/or the executive director of the facility. So that's the proposal for number 2.
That would replace the
That-
existing language in front of us?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you would still need to look at the existing condition number 3, which is that termination. That there must be something in the permit for that, so we would need to discuss that as far as what your comfort level is, as far as if the property owner continues to be Long Prairie Project Associates, if it's that Ascension is operating the facility. At the public hearing, there was discussion about what some of those triggers are with the state as far as when relicensing would need to occur and possibly tying it to that. So those might be some options. If you are looking at that there is, that the facility in and of itself was properly vetted at the first hearing, or whether it would need another one because of these changes.
Gentlemen. Thoughts on, so we've had, I look to Commissioner Lemire and Commissioner Wincher. You were the ones who made the motion, the second. We have a proposed change in language. I want to give you the opportunity to opine.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Lemire.
I'm so sorry, but can you read the first one over for me?
The proposed.
Yeah, the one you just read.
And it was fine. He said that was just a suggestion.
Sure. So it's along the lines of what Matt proposed. Do you want to hear what their proposal is again? I can read it.
Do they accomplish the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
And Mr. Chair, I have to say this. Of all the days, our screen up front isn't working for our presenters, and this is not common here, but I am putting some proposed conditions up so you can see, Amy, and I have them before the board. So the ones I have before you, the condition 1 reads, the facility executive director or CEO of Ascension provides an annual update by January 30th of each new year to the county board and/or land services. Recipient of the report is at the discretion of the county board. And that's, sounds like the board wants to hear from them initially, and then maybe it transitions over time. Condition 2, the interim use permit for a licensed residential treatment center shall terminate when Long Prairie Associates is no longer majority owner of Autumn Hills facility. Condition 3, the property shall abide by all local, state, and federal law regarding licensed treatment facilities.
Mr. Chair, I think the only change I would make is instead of saying Autumn Hills facility, just call it the facility, because who knows what name it'll actually end up being.
The treatment facility or just the facility?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
That works for me, Mr. Chair, on my motion. Can I make one more comment?
You certainly can. We're here. We are here to do the work we're charged with doing.
I think these changes we're making today are rock-solid changes compared to what they were. Mr. Leach, he's got the biggest bite in this game. Why wouldn't we want him to be part of the process of letting us know how his facility is, and he can be our contact person? And then when he decides to step down, we'll have the next director or CEO of Ascension. I just think this is making it so much better. We have somebody that knows the process and has the biggest skin in the game. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all I'm saying for the rest of the night, day, morning.
No, I'm going to ask more. Gentlemen, anybody else have questions, comments? Commissioner Wincher, earlier you asked, Mr. Chair, where do you stand on this? So now I'm going to take my opportunity because I have questions of my own. Question number 1 to Amy. Is the state required to report to the county if there is an incident that would bring their permit into question?
Mr. Chair, the state is not going to police our permit. So for example, we have, if there's a condition that says they need to abide by all blah, 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 all state and federal rules and all of that, it will never be the state's obligation to inform us that something has happened. Further, I'm not sure how much of that is public information if we have a violation of that. So I don't know that I could count on the state to call me up and tell me. I do know that they have reached out to verify the permitting already, because that is part of their process in licensing, is verifying that local zoning approval has been obtained. But I don't know that they would be reaching out to me.
Mr. Leash, you have raised your hand. I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond.
Yep, I don't think they would specifically reach out, but it is public information. And if we lose our license, we're shut down. So it's not like we could continue operating, on this permit without that. And all of the, events with licensed behavioral health facilities are public information.
So thank you for that, and thank you, Amy, for your response to that. The problem I have with that is the fact that then you're now requiring the public to act as the police force.
Well, the state does that.
But, so what I'm looking at is notification. What I don't want, or what I would not look kindly on, I'll state it that way, is if there was an incident that would bring the permit into question by the state, that we would not be made known of that. And I'm drawing a scenario, and I say this with respect, okay, as just a broad scenario. Organization runs a facility. Let me restate this. I've seen this in reporting on, I'll say, abuse at a childcare facility. Multiple violations. Who has oversight on that? State of Minnesota. All of a sudden, it gets to a point where there's either a death or a significant incident that all of a sudden this triggers and makes it to the media. At that point, local officials are made aware of the fact that this facility has had numerous violations in the past and were never made aware. I have a lot of trouble with that when I represent 33,000 plus people in Morrison County, and they rely on us to make sure that we have oversight and that we are accountable to the actions that take place. Mr. Leash.
We could add to the condition, if we ever get any disciplinary action or any issue with the license with the state, I'll report that, not on the 30th of January, but immediately when it happens.
And thank you, because once somebody beat me to the punch again, so I was looking at, could this be something that also be added or taken into consideration in this process?
I'd be happy to do that.
Commissioner Lemire, I thought you were going to make a comment. Before I go on, I'd like to give you the opportunity.
No, I didn't have any.
Okay.
Commissioner Blaine?
May I make an addition to that comment?
Mr. Coleman.
Yes. Part of what we do in the counties that we're working with is that I call them partners early on. So if we have critical incidents, they're notified of those, so that the county is aware, and the county, the social services is aware, so that you would have access information. You would have it, because we don't work apart from the county. We do not. We report what's working and we report what's not working. We report incidents, because it's in our interest that so you're not caught by surprise. So if we have whatever kind of real critical incident it is, we're reporting it. And that's what we already do.
So, thank you, Mr. Coleman. And so you understand, I asked this question not for my own personal, peace of mind, but I look at this from the governance standpoint. We're in governance positions here that require accountability and transparency, and some of this comes from my colleague Commissioner Moran, who accurately stated earlier in this conversation that for future boards, we may not be here. There's a window of time where we have the opportunity to serve in these positions. Others will follow after us. We need to do what we can at our appointed time to make sure that there is that accountability going forward, and it just doesn't end when we walk out of the room. And so, to help you understand my perspective on that and the importance of that question to me. Gentlemen, if I may, I'm going to ask, Mr. Leash, you've talked about successes with previous facilities or other facilities that you have, and the relationship with neighbors, and they become your biggest supporters. When these conditions were placed, the existing conditions were placed, and Troy Hoekstra was that, he was that figurehead, okay, in that process, and was here. And he had reached out to a number of the neighbors and had met with them and had them to the facility to listen to concerns and had dialogue. And as we had heard at the public hearing, there was a gentleman, a neighbor who had said he had known him for a long time and had had many, many conversations with them. Have you had any conversations with any of those neighbors in this process now?
Yes, I have, and I wasn't here at the first hearing. I had a family emergency, but I'm at all of these hearings for programs that we open. Most of them, Ascension just operates and develops, but I happen to own this one. This one is near and dear to my heart. I've been working in Minnesota since 2013. It was Morgantown, West Virginia, and Minnesota. What we'll do is, in a run-up to open, we'll host open house, community open house. However, we like to get the neighbors involved. So I think as it's furnished, which we got the last furniture in there maybe 2 weeks ago, and we're getting ready to receive our license, we'll do community open houses, and everybody will be invited. And I always give my number, and I commit to doing that. People that have not had a chance to meet me, of which there are, I am happy to meet them, give them my information personally, and if they have an issue, call. Like I've said before, we do this everywhere we go, and as we open up, and we'll look for service projects in the community, so we'll be very, we're going to communicate with the neighbors. It's the best way that we can make a program work. If a program is isolated on an island and doesn't have a relationship with the county that it's in, it's not going to be successful. We need the folks that come through here to be supported, feel supported, come back and get jobs and work, in this area. So we will hold open houses. I will give my information to any of the neighbors. If there is something that the neighbors would like us to do differently, we will do that. I think my experience has shown me, over the past 15 years of doing this, these centers just don't cause a nuisance, so no one really needs anything. A center that we opened up in Vermont, the neighbors wanted, us to do some shrubbery in an area, and we did that. It cost, $8,000 or something, and we did it happily, So I will continue to do that. I do that for all of the centers that Ascension operates. We have key stakeholders, but this is one that I own. So I am very personally invested in this.
So, and I didn't mean to go maybe off on a little bit of a tangent there with that, but I think, when I look back at the existing conditions that are applied to this permit, that's all that we're looking at today is whether or not to support changing the conditions of an existing permit. I think one of the things that helped that permit to pass at that time was the fact that Troy was that person who was making all of the contact and doing all of those things.
I was just going to say one thing. As we begin to hire, there's going to be lots of community members working there. So we haven't posted jobs and started that process. As soon as we get our license, we will. But there's going to be 30 people from this county that are working there. And we do lots of community outreach and work with all the businesses and areas and meet with families. That's who comes to our treatment center. So it's just a natural progression, and it's how all of these centers that we open are. There's places that open up in Malibu and pull people from New York City and all over. That's not what I do. Mine are local treatment centers staffed by local positions. We treat local, and we create a local ecosystem. The best way that I've found for people to get clean and sober and maintain their sobriety is building a support group in their area, their network. It used to be the thought, you have to go completely away from where you were. But we found out, there's drugs and alcohol everywhere, so you can't escape the problem. So the best success is if someone goes through treatment here, becomes a community member, lives here, goes to alumni meetings at the center, gets a job here. Eventually, we'll have folks that, like I mentioned, that have gone through treatment work at the center. We end up getting by year 6 or 7, about 25% of our employees are, and it's typically the peer recovery coaches, are former patients at the facility and have stayed in the community and continued their lives. So this is not going to be an out-of-state staff. There will be many, and the people that we're going to hire are going to be the very well-known, best reputation therapists and nurses and executive director and things like that. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys know there's going to be many community members and likely neighbors that work at this facility, we hope.
So, thank you for that. One of the other questions I had in this consideration here, I look at this now and it's not even relevant to the task at hand, so I have to let that fall off the cliff here. But I have to bring us back to what we're charged with attending to, and cause and effect of what happens here. And so we have four conditions which, if the board would vote to allow to change the conditions of an existing permit, these four would go into effect. If the board denies that, or that motion is denied, we would revert back to, we would have an existing permit that would go forward operationally. The facility will still go forward with operating and seek their licensure from the state of Minnesota, and would go into operating, and the only trigger point within that process would for review by the county board would be when Troy decides to dissolve his 10% ownership in the organization, or if there is a state violation or a state an activity that would trigger that licensure by the state or federal government. The other part of that, of reverting back to, and this is a question I have to ask the board. So if I'm correct in what I just laid out, and you're nodding your head, so we're kind of concurring that I've got us to this point. I'm trying to help the board and everyone to understand. So if these changes are made, if they're made, Mr. Leash will be seeing you on a yearly basis at least.
Yes.
Or more often if the chairman or the board requests your presence for a
100%.
report. If the changes are not adopted, the board will still get a yearly report from this organization that is operating because they have a permit to operate. But we'll get a report from Troy Hoekstra, who's the 10% owner. And Mr. Leash, Mr. Coleman, you stated that Troy's in the building business. He is not a treatment professional. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, and I said he would acknowledge that.
Okay, so we need to take that I believe, into consideration there. So, gentlemen, those were the questions and/or concerns that I have.
Thank you.
With this. Commissioner Wincher.
Since I didn't say I wasn't gonna say anything anymore, so going back to these criteria questions, again, this is something new for Morrison County. We know about Lake Shore, we know about ag, and again, it's a learning experience. So when you look at these criteria questions, should we answer affirmative? The request is detrimental use and enjoyment of the property. How do we know? We've never done something like this before. So again, it's a question that you can answer both ways, but again, that's getting me sidetracked, and I don't want to do that. Going back to this condition, again, that's what we're here for. We're already vetting what's going to happen down the road with our conditions. And again, I believe Mr. Moran brought that up. If they start a new permit, now we can do a lot better vetting, because here we're being put on the spot. So now we have time to re-vet, because there's a lot of things. I already have a question. Where's the criteria question, or the conditions? I don't have them in front of me that you put on, if you could please, Matt. Okay, so we have two different things here. We have Essentia, the executive director of CEO of Essentia, but then we have, if they quit, whoever owns the property, if it's Long Prairie Associates, why wouldn't they be up there? See, again, it's confusing for me. If Long Prairie Associates owns the property, however,
Facility executive director works for Long Prairie.
I understand that, but
So that's
again,
part of theirs.
but that should be part of that condition if we were to do that. That's my opinion again, because they're the ones that owns the property, correct? Long Prairie Associates?
Yes.
Yeah, Long Prairie does.
Right,
And I-
and you work, just like I own my house, I work for my wife, but those are things that.
and it's just a building, and Ascension's the operator. of
And
it.
then, again, I'm gonna get sidetracked again. I remember Troy, he went and talked to the neighbors, he did that all personally, because he said he was gonna tell them what's going on. In due respect, you didn't answer our chair's question. If you went and talked to the employees, or talked to the neighbors, you said, yeah, we're gonna have things that, for people to come out, but did you actually go talk to this daycare? Did you, before all this, again, I'm just making that, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but that was a question that was not answered, where Troy was he was out there. So again, going back to personally put somebody else in here, again, we gotta get back on the condition. I just think we've gotta start this process over with their licensing again, so this time, I'm done. I won't say any more, Mr. Chair.
But to Commissioner Winter, but I have to clarify though, we don't have, the action that we take this morning is not, we don't have the ability to force them to restart the permitting
No, we
process.
don't, and I understand that. They don't have to, that's an option. That's what I'm saying. If they want to, then they can. Oh, I'm not saying that we're forcing them to. They can do whatever they want if this here, but again, they also, if I may, Troy might stay on there another 5 years, and then it just moves forward the way it is. Am I not right on that one, Amy?
Mr. Chair,
Amy,
what is Troy's timeline? Is there an exit happening?
He would like to, but obviously, he's not gonna be able to if this doesn't get approved. And Troy's role was, during the construction and throughout this period of time, to be forward-facing to the neighbors. There's not much I'm going to be talking to them about as far as treatment goes. I mean, we have done so much community interaction and things like that, but Troy keeps them up to date. A lot of local people work there. So it's natural that, at this point, leading up to operations, that I and the people that we begin to hire start, being very public facing. So we require our leadership teams at the treatment centers to join local Rotaries. And we're always involved in the Chamber of Commerce and things like that. Like, we fit in and become a part of the community. It's time for us to start doing that now.
Mr. Chair.
Miss Amy?
I asked this at the public hearing, and I'm going to ask it again. Why is Troy not here? I think it was pretty clear, that somebody wanted to hear from him. Why isn't he here now?
I can't speak for Troy. We got an email from him this morning about the property.
So,
Mr. Chair, I think that speaks volume in itself. We got Mr. Leach here. And amending this is allowed in our ordinance under 506.5F. And an amendment is usually designed to make something better. And this amendment to this request is making it way better than what we had. That's all I have to say, Mr. Chair. I'm in full support of it. Thank you.
And Commissioner Lemire, actually, I'm gonna divert from that. I'm gonna look to Amy. And I'm gonna throw a hypothetical out there. And this goes back to governance and not just under my watch, because there's a window of time where I may be here and then I may move on with life too, and someone else will sit here and in these seats. Nowhere in the, is it possible, Commissioner, Mr. LeBlanc, to bring up the existing language, that the existing conditions?
Just had them up.
So number 3 states that this permit shall terminate when Troy Hoekstra is no longer a part of or involved in automobiles in this facility. But it doesn't say to what degree. Gentlemen, it doesn't say to what degree. Troy could have a 1% interest in this, and he would then be the responsible party back to Morrison County. And we do not technically, by permit, have the right to demand that accountability and transparency from Long Prairie Associates. So I have some heartburn about that. Troy could be, as long as he lives, could be a 1% partner. This permit would be in effect valid.
yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So I have to start looking at how do we want to be able to serve our role in governance if we're not looking at having those kinds of oversight with the people involved.
Mr. Chair.
Ms. Amy?
One other thing to add, I think, when we have this tied up with an individual, Mr. Hoekstra, hopefully not, could pass away tomorrow. And we would have the same scenario, because this is tied to an individual person rather than a title.
Very good point.
Yep.
And, Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Moran.
and people buy and sell businesses also, like Troy. Mr. Leach, I don't think you're like that, But like Amy said, people die. They, grow older and things change. This facility is owned by investors still, if I'm not correct, right? I mean, you don't own the majority of the
I
facility.
do.
You as an individual own everything?
My LLC does, 90%.
And, things do change. I just don't wanna be here
But
in a
it-
few more years.
Yeah, and that with the state license, if we have a change in control, if they deem a change in control, we have to go get a brand-new license and start the process again. So tying Ascension and Long Prairie Project Associates, to it, so to me, makes sense. You have, if you're looking for someone that's gonna be closest to the project while it's operational, that's me. I think if the whole point is to really understand what's going on there, it's, I'm willing to do this as the CEO of the whole organization, and I do that because this project is so special to me. But I think, as Commissioner Lemare said, I mean, it enhances the county's position to have oversight over this facility by having me, and who truly understands the operations, and who truly can change something if we need to. If something is not going well, by the county, I'm able to do that, and it's my name, my reputation on the line for this center. I just think that makes sense, but.
Ms. Amy, if I may ask the question to what the comment Mr. Leash just made about if there was a substantial change in ownership, if Mr. Leash in 5 years decide, and I'm being hypothetical here, so I say this with respect to all of you, but let's say, for example, Mr. Leash in 5 years decides, I'm going to retire. I've built this business. It has been X successful, however successful or unsuccessful, whatever, decides that I am going to do a Troy Hoekstra, and I'm going to retire and go to the next chapter of my life. That becomes a substantial change in ownership because he's a 90% ownership, which would require the state to have to reissue his permit. Would that be correct? And, or in that, also with that, where I'm going with that is, would that become then a trigger, whereas the county board at that time, those individuals would then have that opportunity to re-review that permit?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I think it depends on how the state looks at it, because he happens to be the CEO of Ascension. But if he sells his shares and Ascension still continues to be the license holder and all that, I don't know that his exit would trigger a change. And so, I'm not gonna pretend to know that, but that's where I think it's all of that, is keeping track of, when you have something in an LLC and people come and go, and it can be rearranged 100 times, and you could have all different faces, but it's still called Long Prairie Project Associates LLC, and we could, there could be not one person in there that was sitting now in 10 years. So I think that some of those things happen in the background that we wouldn't even know about. And I don't know how the state looks at their licensing as long as Ascension is the license holder, regardless of who sits there, so I don't know.
If Ascension, let's say Ascension decided to sell this facility to XYZ company, that would probably trigger that, Mr. Lee.
Ascension doesn't own it. Ascension has a management agreement and is the operator. Long Prairie Project Associates owns it, has the behavioral health license. I own 90%. If I somehow go to 20%, we've got to go through a licensure process again. It's a change in healthcare.
Okay.
And they vet the people that are owners of healthcare to make sure you're having an impeccable record, or else you can't get a license to operate and treat people medically. So it's very rigorous with the state, very rigorous.
And so to the second part of my question would be, in that instance where the state would have to reconsider their permit, would that also then open that door at the county level for re-permitting?
If you put the provision today that says Ascension and Long Prairie Project Associates, you know, and there's a change of control, then that would be on our permit here. How do we have it worded?
It says Long Prairie Associates no longer has majority owner of the treatment facility.
Yeah, so then we would have to come back anyway.
Okay. I just want to make, one other statement, and this is in respect to the residents in the area and the residents throughout the county, in looking at actions that we take or not take at this point in time, and how does that address that oversight going forward with a permitted facility? This goes back to this place is already permitted, and we're not talking about that. We just established, in my mind, when does that permit then come under scrutiny again? And it's either, if the conditions aren't changed, then it's when something happens to Troy, and I'll just leave it at when something happens to Troy, and he's not a part of this, or if there is a significant change of ownership, or there is action taken by the state, and that's when this permit would come under scrutiny again. So then I have to make the assumption that this place is going forward. It's just under what conditions will it be going forward under? The ones that are existing, where we have somebody who has 10% ownership who's not even here and wasn't at the public hearing for the changes on this, and that would be the person who we would have response to, or has the organization has response through him to us, or we look at changing this, and so I'm trying to make sure that we think carefully through this on, so how do we respond to that level of accountability to the residents of the county by actually having someone that we can go to going into the future when I'm no longer here or others are no longer here. Someone will be picking up this ball into the future, and there will still be residents who live around that facility. Those faces may not change. These faces may. So I appreciate everybody's patience with this process, but there are times where it takes time and it takes effort and it takes understanding to make sure we get things right, or as best that we can, for everyone involved. Gentlemen, where are we at?
I'll make a motion to approve with the following conditions that are before us, the 4 conditions.
Is the second still in place? Or do we need it?
Yeah, I'll
Commissioner Casper?
I will second it.
Commissioner Casper, so we have a gentlemen, we have a motion by Commissioner Lemire, a second by Commissioner Casper to look to amend the conditions. And the amended conditions are before us, and I will read them. Condition 1, the facility executive director or CEO of Ascension provides an annual update by January 30th of each new year to the county board and/or land services. Recipient of the report is at the discretion of the county board. Condition 2, the interim use permit for a licensed residential treatment center shall terminate when Long Prairie Project Associates is no longer majority owner of the treatment facility. Condition 3, the facility executive director or CEO of Ascension will report to Land Services within 30 days of an incident, any critical incident related to staff or residents that could result in negative media attention. Condition 4, the property shall abide by all local, state, and federal laws regarding licensed treatment facilities. We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
We have a roll call, Mr. Chair? Is this a roll call?
We will have a roll call. Thank you. It takes one to ask. We will have a roll call. Discussion. Discussion. Gentlemen, we will vote Commissioner Lemire.
Aye.
Commissioner Moran.
Aye.
Commissioner Wincher.
Nay.
Commissioner Casper.
Aye.
Gentlemen, the chairman votes aye. Although the vote on this amendment is 4-1, the motion prevails.
Thank you guys for taking the time to ask these questions and to get to know me. I commit, as I have up here, to being an open book and very transparent and meeting with you guys anytime. As we're looking to open up the facility, we'll hold a special open house and get you guys there, and then you're certainly welcome to the big one that we do. But I will keep my word and be a good partner to you all. So thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Matt.
Matt, I need like 3 minutes. Fill my copy up.
We'll take, let's take about 7 minutes here right now. Yeah.
Get you some more.
Can you email those to me then?
Already done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And like Long Prairie Association. He's not the only one.
Whatever,
Yeah, I just don't want to be here.
I'll piss.
I'm not right. That's what I'm gonna ask you, but why?
I was told that original vote.
Giving us so much.
Well, yeah, yeah, so I think it's the beauty of, so the beauty and the curse of an interim use permit is, conditional use permits are land use rights, run with the land, granted to the land.
That's fine. See, you have to
Once they're
move
on,
with this shit.
they're a land use right that's always there. Interim use permits also are a land use right, however, they can be and tend to be more time individual use on a property. And so interim uses were fairly new on the scene.
State,
We haven't had them in place for very long.
I think it goes
And there is a requirement
Right, yeah,
on
I
interim
have
use
to, right,
permits that
yeah, 'cause they've
you
been kind
must
of
put an end date on them. That's the biggest
taking some
difference.
cycles are, hopefully.
And in cases like that, in interim use permits, the,
private pay insurance.
I think the tendency is to tie that end date with whomever owns the property or is in control of the property, because how interim use permits get looked at is, we're okay with how you might operate this and how you might, but we wanna take another look at it if someone else comes on the scene. And I think the way it was presented that long ago was absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And I think, at that point, when we were developing it, he was the most, involved person, but he was the development phase of it. And I think at that time too, I don't know that it was probably how that relationship would.
And who knows, they might not even get.
So, and that's kind of one of those things where,
What do you do with this? Or what becomes of it?
well, and I think that is because
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but he was telling me that too.
the facility,
You know,
just the permits,
sold a bill of
5
goods.
years ago,
But he said,
Oh
I
my
put that
gosh.
down, he didn't
I
answer.
mean, that hearing.
He asked me.
And so I think that's why.
Nope. Right around.
What kind of business are you running?
Me?
But people don't understand when someone's coming.
I'm toying with opening like an online retail.
Okay.
The whole
So
thing is,
I'm really interested, we'll see what happens with it. I
New
want
stuff
to-
or reselling or?
No, like creating my own designs for t-shirts,
so
mostly like faith-based messages on t-shirts. And we'll see, I kind of have a heart
How
for
did you know that?
satin
Back
paper.
when you did the Morrison County record.
You have to publish the name of your business in 2 different publications in order to have it legitimate.
Oh,
And so I just
Exactly.
started there and
So-
I have to
and
kind of
that's
get the rest of it
really-
running, so it's a
and I
long
think
Good
process.
for you,
but-
it is,
learned a
it's
lot
tough to have your own business.
But there's a lot of,
You have the tools right now to do it,
And
or you
quite honestly-
dabbling on the side a little bit? and-
so,
Certainly,
yeah, it's like, there's a tool to make the designs and then you link it to your
Also
POD, which is a
look
print on demand, so I don't have to have the inventory. So they just order through my website, it connects to a print on demand, they ship it to them, and then, I mean, I don't know what the margins are for that, I'm kind of just looking into it, but I didn't want, I got excited about the name, cause I've been thinking about the name for like 6 months, and I landed on one, and so then I just registered, and I was like, I'm just gonna register it, so.
What's your name?
Blush Horizon.
Nice.
Because I'm in love with sunsets. I have the coolest sunsets out in my backyard. So I'm gonna make t-shirts of like sunsets and then like either, like the Minnesota tree line with like the big sunset, so.
I Googled that, and you know what came up?
What?
A mobile bartender.
It is. So that's called Blush Horizons, like it's a drink experience. So I have the URL for what but it's not built yet. My website's not built. So it's step by step, it'll get there. I just have to register the business name.
And it takes, trust me, it takes time to get your name out there, because with Wicked Woods too, well, now it's pretty much countrywide, but it's how many hits, I guess, and all that crap. I don't know anything about it, my kids did all that, so now, the more hits you get on your website, it moves up and blah, blah, blah.
Let me see if I can show you. This is that is my like inspiration. So that
As
is,
long as you're at the helm.
And
we're
just to
okay
let you
with
know,
it, but,
quality of shirts
you want-
Yep.
has a
we would wanna
lot,
take
because we
another
got
look
3D printers and all that.
Yep.
Boy, it's just different. Where you get it from China or you get it from Vietnam.
so I'm gonna go with, there's a brand, like, is it Gildan? Gildan, the Gildan brand
Yeah,
that people in
and
like
you
vanilla
know-
canvas. So you can pick the
that's
shirt you wanna
just,
sell through the POD,
we're
and that's like the
certainly
soft material that people like,
Visit
in order, if you want people to purchase more than one from you, that really starchy, thick cotton, people don't like those,
The
so.
representative.
It's a whole new world. It's just something fun for me to dabble. Like I said, I fell in love with sunsets and I wanna make
I should send you some from
But
Sullivan.
at that point.
We take snap pictures out there all the
Yes,
time from our
it would be
cabin.
awesome. See, like that's, the very first year I was there, I was going to bed a little bit earlier, so I was catching the sunset and the rainbow sunsets that I would have out my back patio. Cause I have a giant patio door up on the second level. That like in the summer, the sunset's right through that view. I've had this in my brain for a while now, so I'm just step by step, just
I
kinda
love it.
teasing with it, so.
Good for you. Good for you. That's the beauty of America.
Yep, yep.
Try that in Russia.
No, I'm happy
Just see
to
a
live
drone
here.
fly through.
Yeah, I'm happy to live here,
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
Oh, my
Did you hear about the little 12-year-old boy in Ukraine?
Probably about a month and a half ago.
There had been an attack by Russia with drones in their neighborhood. So there was an arms specialist from Ukraine. So
Back to order here, and Amy gets to stay with us. Thank you for your patience with us and giving us
Absolutely.
a minute to catch our breath.
I just want to make sure I have the right one queued up, yes. So I have two more items for you today, Mr. Chair. The second one I've got is to consider the conditional use permit request from David and Sarah Brucher. And this is an after-the-fact request to expand to a Tier 4 dairy feedlot. And this was considered by the Planning Commission at their last meeting and was recommended for approval with 5 conditions. Those 5 conditions are: the existing berm shall be seeded before the commencement of construction of the manure pits. 2, at no time shall the feedlot exceed 1,568 animal units. 3, the calf hutches shall be moved to meet setbacks from the road right-of-way upon completion of the manure pit construction. 4, the north pasture shall be revegetated and maintained as a pasture with pasture conditions always. And 5, the applicant shall obtain an SDS permit from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Winchester, a second by Commissioner Lemire. Discussion. Commissioner Winchester.
I attended the meeting, they did a great job, they had good input. I'm looking at this animal units, 1568 versus 2,500, it's the
Yes.
same, correct?
Animal units. So 1,568 animal units
Yep.
is different than 2,500 animal units.
Is that what it's? True, but again, if they have, it's still a Tier 4.
It will still be a Tier 4, however, generally, when you approve a permit for a tier change,
Yep.
generally what that does is it allows them to expand up to the top of the tier. So it would give him the ability to go up to 2,500 animal units. given the storage, the storage capacity with the construction and the ability for 9 months worth of storage and the track record of expanding without authorization, that's why we're recommending that condition that he be capped at 1,568. So that could be revisited if he wants to move up to the top of the tier, that we evaluate the manure storage capacity.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Further discussion? I have one question, Amy. So the action that was taken that made this an after-the-fact permit request was what?
The feedlot officer was aware that we probably had an overage and a change in tier, but there was a desire by the operator to do some manure pit work, and which of course triggered an inspection and consultation because he is a registered feedlot. And so in order to get all of that solved, when we knew he was over the tier 3 limit, then before he could move forward with any construction or permits for construction or approval of construction from the MPCA was requiring that he get square with the county.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion prevails.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. And the last thing I have is to consider the conditional use permit request from Platte River Prairie LLC. And this is to establish a mini storage facility. This was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission with 3 conditions. 1, no water or sewer service shall be provided to the storage building or units. No outdoor storage of items shall occur. And lastly, the parcel shall be utilized exclusively for a storage rental business. No other businesses shall be conducted on the property.
Wishes of the board?
I'd make a motion to accept.
We have a motion by Commissioner Casper, a second by Commissioner Moran to approve of this permit
With the conditions.
with the 3 conditions?
With the conditions. Yes, please.
Discussion, discussion. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion prevails.
All right, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Amy, thank you.
Amy.
Thank you for your patience with us this morning.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well.
Gentlemen, I look to Mr. LeBlanc.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First action before the board today, let me grab that wood, please, is to consider a resolution in acknowledgement of the nation's semi-quincentennial. This year in 2026, we celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country. Before the dais this morning, we have a couple banners flying here just in promotion of that. Also above the county government center, we have a 250th flag that's on our flag set, along with the nation's colors and the POW MIA flag, again in celebration of that 250th anniversary and recognition. Over on the side table this morning, there's a cake that was prepared today that will be provided to our employees. They're doing a free will donation of for all all nonprofits, the Yellow Ribbon, very fitting for this sort of event, as we know that our anniversary is contingent upon the brave men and women that served 250 years ago to bring us to this point, the greatest country in the world. It was celebrated the 4th of July, and many saw fireworks as part of that. We, of course, did not have a board meeting. Today is the 14th. It's our first board meeting in the month of July. So with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'd like to read the resolution.
Please.
Okay. Did I just lose it? There we go. A resolution of the County of Morrison in support of America's semi-quincentennial commemoration. Whereas the United States of America will commemorate its 250th anniversary on July 4th, 2026, marking a historic semi-quincentennial milestone in the nation's history. And whereas on July 4th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress formally adopted the Declaration of Independence, laying the foundational principles of democracy, liberty, and self-governance. And whereas the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission, America 250, was established by Congress to plan, encourage, and coordinate the 250th anniversary celebrations across the entire nation. And whereas Minnesota has established its own official state commission to develop an inclusive commemoration highlighting our state's integral role in nation's past, present, and future. And whereas the participation of local governments is vital to ensuring that this national milestone reflects the unique history, diverse cultures, and valuable contributions of our local residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Morrison County hereby officially endorse the semi-quincentennial commemoration and its vision to inspire citizenship, service, and civic engagement. Be it therefore resolved that the county officially recognizes July 4th, 2026 as America's semi-quincentennial and encourages all citizens, schools, businesses, and civic groups to organize and participate in community events, and a certified copy of this adopted resolution shall be sent to our state's official America 250 Commission to register our county's formal participation. Adopted this day, 14 July 2026.
Are we ready to adopt that?
Yes.
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion by Commissioner Casper, a second by Commissioner Lemire to support this resolution. Discussion. Discussion.
I'm talked out. You can go.
You guys
for it.
are all talked out?
Yeah.
Good, because I'm pretty much there too, but I'll just say, happy birthday, America, and I think it's been fantastic. I want to say thank you to staff for having a cake for our county family to celebrate, and the banners that have flown, and also the a framed resolution here.
We'll say something when you're done.
And now, Commissioner Lemire.
I think we should remember those gentlemen that signed the Declaration of Independence and the sacrifices they made. They lost their homes, they lost their wives, they lost their children, all for the banner of freedom to a country that was way, way, way more powerful than us. And we prevailed. We're still a baby country compared to the rest of the world. 250 years old, that's just a blink of an eye. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Lemire. Any further comments?
Thank you, Lord Jesus.
Thank you. Yep, thank you, and
Amen.
we recognize the role of faith, God, and religion in that declaration. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, the resolution is adopted.
Can we get a picture, Mr. Chair?
I think we should. Will you stand with us?
I will stand with you.
You will hold it.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
bring it on up, Tabitha. We'll find someone in the middle here to.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think it'd be, I think this would be
Oh, can you
just.
tilt it quite a bit so they can see what it looks like?
Don't let it slide.
Not that I'm gonna grab it.
Not me.
Commissioner, when's your,
Well, I'm just grabbing to get it out of her.
Yeah, you're good.
You're in a chair, go ahead.
no, you're right you're in the center. You're in the center.
And
you're Don't let that.
Oh, no.
It's all right.
No, wait.
It's
just
not the case.
Everybody,
Still.
everybody
Oh, I'm gonna tilt it
everybody
down too.
stay.
Mommy's gonna headbutt you.
Everybody stay put.
Yeah.
Stick my head in the
You
cake
guys
when I
are
stand
moving
up.
me today.
We're doing what? Annoying you?
He's getting a picture.
Oh.
Come on, Bobby, come on, Bobby, get it together. Tell me how far before
You wanna hold
stuff
it, Mr.
slides.
Chair?
No, I'm nobody, so you guys,
Yeah, right.
we're all in. Oh, I take my glasses off.
Tell Laura.
Look at that.
The banners too.
Good to go?
I didn't think of that, give me a second. I had to do what she did.
Awesome.
Thank you, my friend.
Tabitha,
I'll take it to you.
can you take that straight upstairs? Because they started 5 minutes ago. And
What a picture.
Thank you, man.
thank you.
We'll wait and do calendars when you get back.
Is that okay?
You bet.
I can, if that's all right, Mr. Chair, and I can hit my next item here. We'll Tabitha's out. I mentioned the one mailing today from Initiative Foundation. The second mailer we received this week was from the Chamber. Again, recognize Christina to kick off the meeting, and we are a member of the Little Falls Area Chamber and Tourism. So they appreciated our renewing our membership and said thank you. But I would like to point out that they said one exciting new addition this year is Morrison County Best. It's a new program called Morrison County Best. And it's a new recognition program celebrating the businesses, organizations, volunteers, and leaders who make our community thrive. They have categories where they'll be issuing awards for Small Business of the Year, Large Business of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, Nonprofit of the Year, One Under 40, and Hospitality Association of the Year. So again, pretty neat that our chamber is calling it out as Morrison County Best and extending their reach across the county.
Very good.
And then after that, Mr. Chair, as added at the start of this meeting, I'd propose going into closed session to consider the purchase of property after we do the committee reports.
And so then I look to our deputy chief clerk, and on the agenda, we have 7/19, so we have July 19th through August 1st. So those last 2 weeks of the month, gentlemen. Commissioner Lemire, you look like you're right on top of that, hammer away.
I'm sorry, what did you say the dates were?
19th to the end of the month, last 2 weeks.
21st, planning session, 8:30. BC BOA, 6 o'clock. 28th, board meeting, 9 o'clock. 29th, HRA meeting. 31st, there's a CMEMS Joint Powers Board, but I'm not going to go to that.
Is HRA at 9 AM?
Yes, that's all I got, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Commissioner Moran?
Wednesday, the 29th, 1 o'clock in St. Cloud City Hall, Central Minnesota Emergency Services. And then Friday, the 31st, Central Minnesota EMS Board, 10 o'clock at Stearns County Government Center.
Commissioner Wincher?
Soil and Water, 8 o'clock on Friday the 24th. Big Platte River Days on Saturday the 25th, you can't forget that.
What time do you think that?
What's that?
What time does
The
that
parade
start?
starts at 11.
Okay.
And otherwise, now let's be, on August 1st, I gotta make one more personal announcement. My mom turned 99.
Hey.
Ben, Randy?
Wow.
Randy?
Give her a hug and a kiss for her.
August 1st, 99. so-
Right, that a girl.
That is sweet.
That's great, Randy.
Yeah.
Very,
I'm
very,
good.
very good. Commissioner Casper?
Okay, Tuesday, July 21st, 5 o'clock, Great River Regional Library in St. Cloud. Friday, July 24th, 9 o'clock, Mississippi Headwater Board, Walker, Minnesota. And then a Zoom on July 30th, 10 o'clock, Central Minnesota Council on Aging. That's it, Mr. Chair.
And the only thing I can add.
Oh, my God.
No, it's my big feet. I'm looking for the date because I failed to put it on the calendar. So there is a Region 5. There's a Region 5 exec board meeting to discuss.
It's the 23rd.
Thursday, the 23rd at 10 a.m. and I also have a meeting at 1 o'clock that day too. So, but I am planning on being there.
You have a 1 o'clock meeting?
I have a 1 o'clock meeting in Melrose, so I'm gonna drive in reverse of what I usually do every month. And go up to Region 5 first.
There's not a Region 5 at 6 PM?
There is not, the commission does not meet, but the exec board meets that day at 10 a.m. And that's all I have. Is there any other business to come before the board before, that we can have an open session before we go to a closed session?
I make a motion that we close, go to a closed session.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wincher, second by Commissioner Casper to enter closed session.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. LeBlanc.
And before you take the vote, I must disclose that it is in, to discuss property 312 East Broadway here in Little Falls.
Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Gentlemen, we'll enter closed session. We'll start at 11:45.